I move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to be issued for the duly certified copies of all the records of the NBI's investigation into the threat made by the Vice President Sara Duterte against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, and certified true copies of all documents and photographs gathered in the course of the above-mentioned investigation. And so move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to issue a subpoena to the National Bureau of Investigation with respect to the records of investigation of threats made by the Vice President to the President, to First Lady, and to the former Speaker. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The committee secretary is directed to issue the necessary subpoena. The Honorable Chua.
Madam Chair, with respect to the second subpoena, I move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the Office of the Ombudsman for the issuance of the duly certified true copies of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worths of the Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte for the years 2022 to 2025 inclusive, 2007 to 2013 inclusive, and 2016 to 2022 inclusive. So move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman with respect to the salin of the Vice President from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, 2016 to 2022. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
Is that an objection, Honorable Rodriguez?
I object. This is now a clear fishing expedition against the Vice President. Thank you.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall proceed to divide the House. Justice members, please be ready to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman for the production of salins from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. Please raise your right hand. You may now put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. Secretariat, the result, please. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue subpoena duces tecum to the Ombudsman for the production of the salin of the Vice President corresponding to the period of 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. So ordered. May we hear from the Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This representation confirms that as an ex-officio member of the Committee on Justice and as an endorser of the Sabalia et al. Complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte, I filed yesterday, March 24, with the Committee on Justice and with a copy furnished to respondent by the Committee Secretary, a request for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum for the following 5 individuals, 5 resource persons and or witnesses. 1, Attorney Gloria A. Camora of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit to produce, identify, and authenticate official COA audit records, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education pertaining to the disposition of the confidential funds for the years 2022 and 2023. In my letter, Madam Chair, there's a long list actually of those copies of those documents, the original copies of which we are seeking to be produced via subpoena from Attorney Gloria Camora of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. I so move, Madam Chair, to issue subpoena juris tecum and ad testificandum to the named individual or named employee or official of the Commission on Audit.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Attorney Gloria A. Camora with respect as well to the documents pertaining to the confidential funds during the alleged period.
Yes, Madam Chair, as I said, it's a long list actually. There are the checks, the disbursement vouchers as listed, proof of submissions, liquidation reports, certifications, accomplishment reports, certifications of various dates, etc. It's a long list as listed in the letter of this representation, the letter request of this representation.
We are directing the committee secretary to provide copy of the manifestation or the request to the justice members. And the same is also adopted in support of the motion raised by the Honorable De Lima.
Madam Chair, discussion. I'd like to have a clarification.
Just for the record, the motion of the Honorable De Lima has been seconded by the Honorable
Yes,
Zamora.
now
Honorable
discussion.
Rodriguez.
I would like to clarify. Clarification from the proponent, from the movant. Is this the confidential funds of 2022 and then 2023 of the Office of the Vice President and not the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Education? Maybe no, maybe clarified.
There are documents pertaining to the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President, and there are also documents pertaining to the confidential funds for the Office of the Department of Education.
Madam
Because
Chair.
those are grounds number 1 and 2 of the affidavit, of the complaint, the Sabalia et al. Complaint.
Madam Chair, when our distinguished Congresswoman De Lima, she mentioned of 22 and 23 years. In your first
23.
motion, when you stated the motion, 22, 23. So that's why I'm getting clarification. Are you now including the DepEd confidential funds?
There
Because
are
your
also
motion is 22 and 23.
22, 2023.
Because the COA has not been able to have a final notice of disallowance on the DepEd confidential funds.
Again, may I?
Yeah,
ask?
because when I heard you, it was 2022, 2023. That is pertaining to the Office of the Vice President. But then now you're saying, in my clarification, that you are also moving for her to be able to give documents regarding the confidential funds of the Office of the Department of Education where she was secretary. Let us be clarified on that. Are
Yes,
you
yes,
also
Madam
including?
Chair. With respect to the DepEd, these are also, again, the list is here. With respect to DepEd, there will be accomplishment report dated September 30, 2023, for the period July 12 to September 30, 2023. So there's a covered period actually, 2022, 2023, and also it's 2023, and the certification issued January 1, 2024. Certification dated December 30, 2023. So covering also the Department of Education.
I will therefore object, Madam Chair, because it is this humble representation's position that under the Duterte versus House of Representatives ruling, only actions pertaining to the impeachable office of the impeachable official can only be the subject matter here. Objection, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Rodriguez is consistent
May I
in his
respond to
position
that
since our
objection?
determination of substance. The Honorable
Yes.
De Lima.
Well, that matter was settled already during the proceedings for the determination in substance and also for the proceedings for the determination of whether there are sufficient grounds for impeachment. At any rate, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez made mention about the ruling of the Supreme Court in the Sara Duterte versus House of Representatives. And it says there, during the incumbency. Yes, it says there, during the incumbency of the impeachable official. Here, the Vice President. Now, it doesn't say in relation only to her office as Vice President. Because, you know, she was occupying the DepEd Secretary portfolio in her concurrent capacity as Vice President. Now, you don't distinguish the actions made, especially the anomalous actions, the impeachable offenses made because it's with the department, it pertains to the Department of Education. Just to explain it further, Madam Chair, what if the Vice President kills someone? It doesn't say it's in relation to or as Vice President and as DepEd Secretary, but that crime happens during her incumbency as Vice President. She may have two hands, as OVP, as VP, and as DepEd, but she has only one brain. She has one persona. She is the same person. Again, the Supreme Court says, during the incumbency of the impeachable official, but not in relation to. There's a big difference between that, the use of those phrases, during her incumbency and also in relation to her functions or duties as Vice President. So that is my counter-argument
With all due
to the
respect to
position
the
made.
Honorable De Lima and the Honorable Rodriguez, I believe that this issue has been deliberated upon amply during our determination of sufficiency in substance and even in the sufficiency in ground. So, with the indulgence of all the members, let us proceed to vote on the motion for issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum with respect to Attorney Gloria A. Camora and all the documents pertaining to the confidential fund in 2022 and 2023, both of the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President. The same has been seconded. The motion was also objected to. Let us now proceed to vote. Members, please be ready to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. Committee Secretariat, result please. With 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Gloria A. Camora, and with respect as well to the production of pertinent documents on confidential fund of both the DepEd and the Office of the Vice President in 2022 and 2023. So ruled. Honorable De Lima.
My second motion is to issue subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Mr. Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga to produce, identify, and authenticate his affidavit dated November 29, 2025, which is Annex A of the complaint in the Sabalia et al. Complaint, and any other documentary or object evidence in his possession, and to testify thereon. This is with respect to receipt on the receipt, handling, and distribution of the confidential funds. It's very clearly alleged in the complaint of the Sabalia et al.
There is a motion raised by the Honorable De Lima to issue subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga, and for the production of affidavit dated November 29, 2025, as well as any other evidence in his possession. The same has been seconded by Vice Chair Dumogan. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection because, again, there is a statement here in the third column that it's also his testimony on the DepEd's confidential funds where we have no jurisdiction. Objection, Madam Chair.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall now proceed to vote. Committee on Justice members, please be ready to vote. This is on the motion for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga, as well as for the production of his affidavit and any other evidence in his possession. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. Committee Secretariat, result please. With 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is hereby granted. The Committee on Justice is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga and for the production of his affidavit dated November 29, 2025 and any other evidence in his possession. So ruled. Honorable De Lima.
My third motion is for the issuance as well of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, the notary public who notarized the affidavit of Mr. Madriaga, to identify and authenticate the due execution and notarization of Mr. Madriaga's affidavit. I so
Second,
move.
Madam Chair.
There is a motion to issue subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, as well as for the production of the original copy of the affidavit of Mr. Madriaga dated November 29, 2025. Do I hear a second? The
Second,
same
Madam
has been
Chair.
seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection.
The same objection is
consistent.
registered by the Honorable Rodriguez. Let us proceed to vote. Justice members, those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand, Honorable Rodriguez. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting.
Madam Chair, I just stepped out, but I'm voting in favor of the motion as
The
well.
Honorable Jokno is registering his vote in favor of the motion. Result, please. With 30 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, as well as the production of the original affidavit of Mr. Madriaga, executed on November 29, 2025. So ruled. The Honorable De Lima.
Madam Chair, my fourth motion is also for the production of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to the custodian of the Archives Division of the House of Representatives to produce, identify, and authenticate transcripts, video recordings, and related records of prior hearings of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability on the Office of the Vice Presidents and Department of Education's disposition of their confidential funds for 2022 and 2023. I so move, Madam Chair.
There is a pending motion for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum to the Legislative Library Archives Division, House of Representatives, as well as for the production of transcript and video recording of the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability on September 18, 2024, September 25, 2024, October 17, 2024, November 5, 2024, November 25, 2024, as well as the production of the affidavit of USEC Gloria Mercado and the envelopes labeled Hope, submitted by Undersecretary Mercado. The motion has been seconded by the Honorable Zamora. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby granted. The necessary subpoena duces tecum and ad testificandum in as far as the Legislative Library Archives Division of the House of Representatives is hereby directed to be issued by the committee. The Honorable Dilima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The fifth and last motion for today's proceedings for the production of Subpoena Juris Tecum and Subpoena ad testificandum to be addressed to a representative from the Philippine Statistics Authority to produce, identify, and authenticate certifications from the civil registry system, such as the database, the PSA Civil Registry System database on the certificate of live birth, certificate of marriage, certificate of death, on several names found in the submissions of the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education, particularly certification dated December 8, 2024 and December 11, 2024. This is to show the recipients of OVPs and DepEd's confidential funds had no birth, marriage, or death records, as well as to identify and authenticate the requested certifications. I so move.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to the Philippine Statistics Authority, Carlos P. Garcia, to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or to the representative of the Philippine Statistics Authority, and for subpoena duces tecum with respect to the original copies of the certifications pertaining to PSA verification made from PSA Civil Registry System database on the certificate of live birth, marriage, and death on several names found in the submissions of the OVP and DepEd, particularly the following: certification dated December 8, 2024, and certification dated December 11, 2024. Do I hear a second?
Second.
The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is granted. The committee
Madam
is
Chair.
directed to issue the necessary subpoena to the representative of the PSA, as well as for the production of the documents mentioned therein.
Madam Chair, may I make an additional motion for the issuance of a subpoena?
Like to make another motion for the
Yes.
issuance of subpoena.
I move that the subpoena be issued to Attorney Michael Wesley POA in his capacity as the former Chief of Staff of the Vice President and DepEd Secretary from 2022 to 2023. In such capacity, he has very material and relevant information on how the confidential funds in the DepEd were used, and in particular, he had a direct role in the preparation of the accomplishment reports relating to the use of the DepEd's confidential funds, some of which these accomplishment reports have been the subject of the request for subpoena that this committee has approved.
May
So
we
I
hear
so
from
move, Madam
our
Chair.
endorser? Would you like to comment to the motion of the Honorable Tino? He wishes for the issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael POA, considering that during that time, he was assuming the position of
Chief of Staff of the DepEd Secretary.
COS
Yes.
of DepEd.
Undersecretary, with the rank of Undersecretary.
Honorable Dilima?
My motion was pertained only to the custodian of those COA audit records, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions from the custodian, the official custodian of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. I won't have any strong objection to that request, since it's related to this item.
All right,
The
so
subject matter of the first motion that I put forth, which was approved by the body.
so the
Thank you.
chair will now act on the motion. The
Madam
committee
Chair.
will now act on the motion. Is that an objection to the motion of the
Definitely.
Honorable Tino?
I object. Are there documents that the Chief of Staff, Attorney POA, has signed that he would be a witness to identify? May I ask the proponent
Before we entertain the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez, let me just formalize that there is a motion raised by the Honorable Tino to issue a subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael POA, considering that he was the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Department of Education during the alleged period of 2022 and 2023. Do I hear a second?
Second.
The same has been seconded by the Honorable D.S. Konghon. Now let's hear the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, I could not find nexus borne by evidence or ultimate facts that would now make the Chief of Staff and lawyer of the Vice President to be subpoenaed. In fact, he has entered this appearance as counsel. So I would like to know whether there are documents which he certified or he signed that would make him be able to be invited to be given subpoena to appear in this committee. Otherwise, then we can, just because they are in the office of the Vice President, we'll be giving subpoena to everybody there in the Vice President's office. So I object, and I would like to know about that. Are there documents that would show that he has been part of these confidential funds?
Yes, Madam Chair, in the third complaint endorsed by the Honorable De Lima, there is a section extensively discussing the role that then USEC POA played in preparing the accomplishment reports pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, where and the complaint cites the transcripts of the hearings of the Committee on Good Governance on this matter, where USEC POA admits that one, he was ordered by the Vice President to submit these accomplishment reports, and also cited in the complaint that the several Army units denied what was claimed in these accomplishment reports.
So we've heard the justification of the Honorable Tino. We've heard as well the justification and the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez. We are a collegial body, so we shall now proceed to vote on the motion
Before
of the
the
Honorable
voting,
Tino.
Madam Chair, I would like the proponent to show to us documents, certifications that had led to the release of these confidential funds. Because we are now already on the hearing, precisely. Are there any? Because if there's none, there is no reason to call him and subpoena a lawyer.
Madam
The
Chair,
Honorable
as I
Tino.
said, I cite the complaint itself, the third complaint, specifically starting from
The process of utilization of the alleged confidential funds is not confined to the documents. There could be actions that contributed to the utilization of confidential fund, which might be covered by the testimony of the possible witnesses.
Okay. Well, starting from paragraph 269 of the third complaint, page 90, there is a reference to former DepEd spokesperson. He was spokesperson as well as Chief of Staff, Michael POA, testifying that he received envelopes directly from Vice President Sara herself. So this has to do with the allegation on bribery. And there are other sections as well pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, Madam Chair. If Congressman Rodriguez would want, we can provide, given enough time, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, we are now voting, so we should be able to get it. There is. The fact that he's Chief of Staff and Counsel will not, implicate him to be able to have that if there is no document. So I would object to that, Madam Chair.
With the indulgence of these two gentlemen, as to whether or not there's relevance in the presentation of Attorney Michael COA, will be a question that rests on the judgment of the justice members. We shall now proceed to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael POA, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion? Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. 2, 3. Were you able to count? Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. That concludes the voting. We shall announce the result. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 3 votes in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael POA. So ruled.